Hey guys, to help run the forums, host the website, and travel, we've introduced a universal service fee for in-depth coverage, including this video. My goal is to be unbiased and transparent. It's a privilege to serve you. This is not an endorsement. Let's get into it. What a beautiful day, huh guys? We're hanging out by the beach, checking out some beautiful folding bikes from Tern. I've reviewed the Vektron S10 before, and we've got the new Bafang powered bike back there. What is that one called, Steve?
That's the Vektron D8.
The D8.
Yep.
Okay, and it's kind of unique to see a different drivetrain. I'm really familiar with Bosch. We've got the Active Line Plus over there, but then with the Q9, we've got the standard Active line, and this is like the opening price point for Bosch stuff. One of the reasons I like this drive system is because the battery packs are interchangeable. We've got the very proven, reliable PowerPack 400 right there, and maybe you've already got a Bosch powered bike, or maybe you've got the GSD, you've got that mini cargo bike we were looking at the other day. Very cool, and the batteries are interchangeable. That one can actually handle 2 batteries, so you could really boost your range if you happen to have a folding bike or something, maybe get a family setup. Yeah. So I really like that, but it is kind of cool to see you branching out a little bit. The focus today is on the Q9, so I want to just go through what I've seen and some of the new features and some of the differences here. This is 2019 model that we're looking at here. Did you guys launch these in 2018?
Yeah, so we showed them last fall at Interbike and Eurobike, which is standard practice basically, and now they're in the market and ready to sell.
Yeah. You guys started out as just a folding bicycle company, and you've really been an innovator in the space.
Yeah, that's true. So we started out making folding bikes, but we always aspired to be what we call an urban transportation company, which allows for cargo and family bikes and that sort of thing. And we branched out once we had an opportunity to work with Bosch to make a folding bike. It is the only full folding Bosch powered bike in the world still, so we're really excited for that. And we certainly learned a lot along the way. So
it was quite the statement, because especially in the early days, Bosch, they really only partner with some of the leading companies. Their drive systems are very reliable, very responsive. The motor measures your rear wheel speed, pedal cadence, pedal torque over 1,000 times per second, and they've got shift detection built into all their drive systems. So even though this one's kind of a lightweight, I think it's about 6.3 pounds, it's quieter, it's more efficient, and so you still actually get really good range even with the PowerPack 400. But that interface is compatible with the new PowerPack 500, so you could really extend your range depending on the batteries you have at hand, or if you upgrade someday. This bike does fold in half. We'll show that a little bit later, but you'll notice that it's got a double seat post, and that's because this thing can go really high up, and they've got this Andros adjustable stem, so it kind of tips forwards or up. So it feels like riding a standard bicycle in a lot of ways. Now it does have smaller wheel diameters, so these are 20 by 2.15 inch. They're a little bit wider, and they give you some stability, but mainly comfort. The higher air volume, it's just a little bit squishier. These are Schwalbe Balloon, Big Apple, but they do have K-Guard 3, so puncture-resistant lining and reflective sidewalls. So that keeps you a little bit more visible, especially with this darker color. It's this nice, rich blue, kind of a gloss finish with some silvery accents there. Steve, are those reflective silver accents?
Yeah, silver is reflective.
They are awesome. Yeah. I'm all about safety, right? And so, if we look at the back of this bike, there's an integrated light, and it runs off the battery pack. Same thing with the headlight up here. Very nice, and it has a physical on-off switch. So you can activate the lights with the display, and then you could turn the headlight off if you wanted, but that rear light would be giving you plenty of visibility, and it's tucked in because this rack has really been updated. I'm gonna jump into that in a minute, but just coming back to the frame itself, about 48 pounds, a couple pounds lighter than the S10, at least the one that I reviewed last year. I imagine they're fairly similar. This one has, it's the Performance Line Plus, but does it also have the higher capacity battery?
No, it's the same 400 power pack.
It does have the 400 power pack. So this one, in some ways, you might climb a little bit easier, but you might burn through the battery a little bit faster.
Yeah, sure.
It's up to 50 Newton meters of torque on that motor versus 40 Newton meters over here. 250 watts nominal, up to I think 500. And the peak percentage output is I think it's 250% versus 300%, which is what you see on some of the Performance Line motors. You'll get to see it in action a little bit here, but some of the characteristics that I've noticed is that this has a 52 tooth chainring. See how big that is? It's not like the proprietary smaller sprocket on a Performance Line motors. And what that means is you don't get any pedal drag. There's no reduction gearing system. They've just got this nice big sprocket. The reason it's so big is to kind of offset the smaller wheels so you get a comfortable cadence. 11 to 32 tooth cassette, 9 speeds, Shimano Alivio. That's one step below Dior, so it's actually a pretty nice derailleur. It means it's lighter weight, it's got a nice spring in there, it's going to be a bit more reliable. Quick release on both of the wheels, love that, just for easy maintenance on the go. And then see that silver like circle there? That's for folding, so it can actually like stay folded, not come undone. And they've got this little rubber latch here too. We might highlight that later for if you fold the handlebars. Keeps the thing from rattling loose and getting scratched up. Okay, so it comes in that single color, but it is a nice color. We talked about safety. I love that they've got bottle cage bosses right here. And I love this rear rack. So for me, this is a real highlight. It's extra long, so you can put longer panniers. They've got this big oversized tubing with these little kind of nubs, so you can lock on a pannier bag and it won't slide forward and back. It's going to keep it further back from your pedal rotation. So see, if you're pedaling like this, your foot could be way back here. You don't want to kind of snag that with each stroke into your bag. So I really, really like that. It's got these bungee cords, and hopefully you're not going to have the panniers bumping into the tires because you got this plastic chain cover and plastic fenders, front and rear. I mean, this thing's basically ready for commuting in all kinds of weather. Even the kickstand, it's positioned really far back, out of the way of those pedals. And then braking, of course, that's important too. We've got hydraulic disc brakes, 3-finger levers, adjustable reach, so if you have smaller hands, it's one of the benefits over like a mechanical brake. And they tend to get, maybe over time, not quite as easy to pull, whereas these are very consistent, front and rear. 160 millimeter rotors, front and rear, which is great, especially because, you know, these are smaller wheels, so you're getting a great mechanical advantage, even with like, you know, 160 millimeter, that's kind of a standard size rotor versus 180, and that's what we see on the GSD. That's their like mini cargo bike. Very cool. I just feel like, you know, these bikes are really well thought through, even to the point where they've got a 30.9 millimeter top seat post. Okay, this one's like 34.9, a little bit fatter. The point I'm trying to make here is you can swap this rigid post out with a suspension seat post, and that would add a little bit of comfort. You know, these tires, they do have a bit of range to work with in terms of inflation, 30 to 55 PSI. So I'm a lightweight guy, I'm like 135 pounds. I could take that down closer to 30 PSI and get a little bit of comfort. If you weigh more, you want to raise that a little bit so you don't get like a pinch flat. That's going to give you a little bit of comfort, but then you get a suspension seat post and you're really feeling good, because smaller wheel diameter, while they bring the bike down, make it easier to load, a little bit more stable, easy to put your feet down, kind of a mid-step frame design here, they do have a higher attack angle. So when they run into like a curb or a bump, you feel a little bit more. It doesn't span them quite as smoothly. Those are the things I think about. Comfort matters to me a lot. I kind of have some neck and back pain. So riding a bike, especially a folding bike, I'm always thinking about like, how can I make it comfortable? Now, they do have a really nice saddle. They've got locking ergonomic grips. We already talked about the brakes, a bell for safety. I love that. Steve, can you maybe tell me a little bit more, or kind of show off the bungees and just, this rack is really cool.
Sure, yeah. So we call this rack the Atlas rack. We're really proud of it. On the Gen 2 frame, you can see the new battery angle, so that makes it really shallow. That allows us to have this long rack, which gives you more top rack space. This is also compatible with the Yep baby seat too.
Oh,
so
Yep window.
This is the Yep window right there.
You've got two of them.
Yeah, you're not going to get 2 seats on there, obviously.
Oh, man.
And then yes, we have this really fun bungee system on there that you can use one or both cords. There's a you know, you can loop it like this and then just go straight over. You can go at a 90-degree angle, and then we have these clips on the
and like pull it,
so then you can do something crossways.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's a really nice setup. And you already pointed out, you know, the pannier is on this lower bar, so what that does is you can still have a trunk rack, a top bag, and panniers here. They're not running into each other. And then, like you said, it has the pannier hooks to keep it from moving around.
There's one more thing I haven't said. Can you guess it? It's so cool.
The vertical.
Yeah, do it. Can you show us?
Yeah, sure.
This is so cool. See how there are these 4 pegs right here?
Yeah.
You can tip the bike up, because, you know, so many times maybe you have limited space. You live in an apartment. That's why you got a folding bike to begin with. You're like, okay, I don't want it taking up all my space. Or maybe you want to toss it into the trunk of your car or something like that. He's folding it down. He's a pro. Look at that. And he's grabbing. There is like a nice saddle point you can grab there, and some extra tubing all around that's very secure. I haven't noticed a lot of rattling, even though these are plastic fenders. Everything is really well reinforced. They're a little bit thicker.
And then, so once the bike is folded, then
look at that.
It stands on the rack, and it's really quite stable. So if you're storing it in your apartment or something like that, or in a car, that's a really nice option. It's very stable.
That is beautiful. Do you feel like there's anything I hadn't, well, trigger shifters, I didn't get close up on those, but what haven't I said here, Steve? Do you want to add anything?
I think it's been super thorough. We're really happy with the new geometry. There's a slight tweak of the geometry, so the bike rides even better than the previous version. The rack is definitely one of the highlights for us. So yeah, and the new active motor is super smooth. It's the smoothest, quietest out there. So the neat thing about this bike is, for that person who is maybe less experienced, they're a little fearful perhaps of a really powerful launch, you know, that with an electric bike. This is so smooth and gentle. They just feel literally like there's a tailwind the whole time. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really fun setup.
And just so responsive. You know, the motor controller system that Bosch uses is top notch. You know, it's interesting seeing all these different bikes in the background, and I noticed that you don't have the new fancy rack on the Bafang bike. I keep forgetting the D8,
yeah, the Vektron D8. So
it must be an 8-speed. Yeah?
Exactly. Yep. The number always means the gears. So you can see the battery placement on that bike is still behind the seat tube, which we like, but it does preclude us from this particular rack.
Okay.
That's an updated heavy-duty rack on there, so it's still quite capable.
What's the price on the D8?
$21.99. So it's definitely in the more affordable range. You're not really going to find a quality folding bike that's powered in that range.
Well, yeah, you know, the interesting thing about all of the, at least the Bosch ones, they have the 2-year comprehensive warranty plus 10 years on the frame. Is that the same for the D8?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So the frame and fork and handle posts are covered by us, and that's 10 years when you register your bike, and then 2 years service on the drive system.
Okay, and then the Q9 is $31.99.
$31.99, exactly.
How about the S10?
The S10 is $36.99.
36. Oh, it's not too much difference.
Right.
Maybe it's time to jump into the display. That one's all folded. Maybe these guys can unfold it. This one has the same display, the S10, so I'm just gonna like handle this one. It'll be fun. Press the power button here. Boots up pretty quickly. This is the Bosch Purion display. It does have a little micro USB port over here, but that's just for diagnostics, for shops to like update the software and stuff. So speed and miles per hour right now. If you want to switch to kilometers per hour, hold minus and tap the power button. So I'm gonna switch it back. Then we've got battery infographic, and it has 5 bars of power, and that's actually like replicated on the side of the battery. There's like a little LED kind of button readout somewhere. There it is down here. So you can press that even if it's off the bike, and you can store and charge this separately from the bike, which is nice. There are no little dongles or anything. I believe that the Q9, it comes with the Bosch travel charger, so it's like a 2-amp charger, a little bit lighter, a little bit more compact, sort of fits the theme of the bike. And then coming back over, I love how quickly this boots up. Just tap that power button for a second. It is backlit, kind of constantly backlit. If we hold the plus button, it activates the headlight and the rear light. There's a little light icon, and that's where, you know, this switch comes in handy, which is pretty neat. Very aimable, very easy to adjust. Everything on this bike feels really high quality. It looks like the bungee straps are not quite blocking that light. That's something I'd keep my eye on, though. Maybe I'd loop below the bottom of that rack there, just so that, you know, you've got that safety from behind. They got the extra reflector. We come back to the display. Right now we're in off, but if you press plus or minus, we'll go up and down in pedal assist. So we go to Eco, Tour, Sport, and Turbo. I'm gonna stow that kickstand for a second and get maybe a little bit more light for you guys. There we go, looking really nice. Anytime it's in any of these 4 assist levels, press the walk mode button and then hold plus, and it just, oh, there we go. It just takes off, which would be great if this thing is loaded up. Maybe you've got kids or there's just a lot of distractions. It's not an appropriate place to ride. I like that that's enabled. And then if we hold the minus button, we've got a bunch of other readouts like trip distance here. That's how far we went on this ride. Total distance, 24 miles. That's great, the odometer basically. And then range, so range is dynamic, also says 24. We just got 24 across the board right now. So if I take this all the way up to turbo, that's the 24, but we take it down to eco, Now it's saying 56 miles. I mean, that's pretty incredible for a PowerPack 400, but it comes back to the Bosch Active Line motor and how efficient it is. That calculates dynamically over the past mile of riding. So if I wait a little bit more, or if it was windy or we're riding in the sand or something, it's gonna update on the fly and give us that nice feedback. I think that's about it. Might be a good chance to hop on and ride. Am I missing anything, you guys?
I think you got it.
Right.
Sweet, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna start in turbo mode. You guys could mount up over there. I like to do turbo because it's the most pronounced, but on the Active Line motors, you really can't hear it too much. It's pretty quiet. And then I just love, like, I kind of lean the bike, step over. The cables on these are not internally routed. I think that's a little bit safer on folding bikes sometimes. They're easier to service, and then they won't get pinched in the frame. I'm gonna take off ahead of you guys just because it'll be a little bit quieter. Feeling pretty good. Very good. There we go. Just gonna get onto the street here. And I like to do the no hands test, but sometimes it's a little bit windy. We got the smaller wheels and they're not quite as stable. But again, with those 2.15 inch tires, it does add some comfort, and it sort of comes down to how full you inflate them. There we go. Full stop, one hand. That's the hydraulic disc brakes. Gotta appreciate that. One thing about the Active Line motors is that, you know, pedaling backwards, you can do it and it actually cycles the chain. And that's nice for maintenance. But there's a little bit of like drag there because I think it's actually turning the motor gears. There's not any friction, like in terms of pedaling. It's not like slowing you down. When you stop, sometimes you feel like a clunk. There's kind of a little bit of pressure. That's one thing I've noticed that on all of the Active Line motors from Bosch, but they perform really well, and it's sort of a one-to-one pedal to chainring rotation. I mentioned that reduction gearing update before. Oh, seems to work pretty well. Maybe a little bit of rattling on the fenders, not a whole lot. Check these guys out. Nice. Looking good, guys. Sweet. Beautiful. Let's just take a little loop here. Okay guys, from here you can see that plastic chain cover, the chain blade from, I believe, SKS. Pretty nice, lightweight, keeps your pants clean, or your dress or whatever, skirt. 170 millimeter crank arms, and then they do have this like removable pedal thing here, which is pretty cool. I think it's this one, right? Yep. Look at that, boom! Take that off, makes it easy to fold the bike and even more compact. I do have the folded dimensions back to the website too. 52 tooth chainring with that alloy guard piece that just protects the teeth and everything. And then it is the Q9, so 9 speeds, Shimano Alivio. I'm gonna pedal along in the highest level of assist, so you'll be able to hear the motor, listen closely. And I'll shift gears so you can kind of get a sense for how shift detection works. It's not perfect, it's software driven, but it's just a very sophisticated sensor that's designed to create a little less pressure to really take care of the drivetrain. It's best to ease off a little bit on your pedal pressure whenever you shift, for any bike. That's just kind of how it works. So here we go. Very smooth brakes. Everything feels pretty quiet. I'm probably hearing like some whooshing because I'm pedaling and it might be touching the microphones a little bit, but it just works really well. Got one more special treat for you. We got back to the cars and I was like, yeah, I remember being able to kind of maneuver this thing, and we were saying there's some, show me how this works.
Absolutely. So when the bike's folded, you can wheel it around if needed. So say you got to a train station or something,
yeah,
and you wanted to go from one platform to the other.
Oh, and you've even got the brakes.
And yeah, so I like doing it like this, that way I have better control of it.
Yeah, look at that, man. Okay, because I've seen other bikes where you kind of just like try to maneuver it, and maybe they have some better ways to do it, but this is just awesome.
Yeah, we really like that feature as well.
Do it again, man. Bring it this way, right this way. Beep, beep, beep. Looking good,
you
Steve.
Could even do walk mode if you needed to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That is awesome, and it's so even, like the way that the wheels are set up. It's not like
exactly
super crooked or something.
Yep.
So you guys designed it like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was intentional?
Yep. One of the things we work on is how to easily maneuver them around.
Even folded.
Yep.
So like getting into an elevator or something like that.
Exactly.
That is awesome.
Exactly.
Thank you, man.
All right, sure thing.
Good stuff. Well, guys, another beautiful day at the beach. Tons of fun. Chris, I really appreciate you coming out, sharing some of your bikes today.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And then, of course, Steve, it's always fun and important to get the official word.
That's right.
All the details. I've measured this bike. There it is. All the dimensions and everything back at the website, ElectricBikeReview.com. Please chime in if maybe you have the older S10 or you've just got any of the Tern products and you have something else to share. I do my best. I want to be objective. I really appreciate your input. Have fun out there. Ride safe.